Lions and Reds, folks, this Wednesday, next game of the British and Irish Lions tour is getting underway. The teams have been named. It's an interesting squad from the Reds, albeit without a few of their big gun Wallabies players, and the rotation continues, barring one position, which is the same as the Force game for the Lions. We'll go through the squads, some of the prediction stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts on how this one is going to go. Obviously, it's the third game for the British and Irish Lions, the second game of the tour, but their third game together. They got a 1-1 record. They certainly looked very sharp up against the Force last week. The Force side, they're a team who didn't make the playoffs in Super Rugby, but they still had a number of Wallabies guys playing for them. Reds are a better team. They finished fifth. They went out to the eventual champion Crusaders in Super Rugby. However, they are without Fraser McRae, who's certainly one of the best players in Aussie Rugby, tackle machine, turnover merchant. Without Harry Wilson, their big number 8 with the big ball carries. They're without their halfback, Tate McDermott, who snipes, cause teams all kinds of problems. Without their top point scorer, Tom Liner, Dalgunu, Nongor. So 6 of their 8 Wallabies are unavailable for this one. It's just Matty Fassler and Hunter Paisami who are available. So it's a somewhat depleted Reds lineup, but they'll be giving it all they've got up against the Lions at Suncorp. Aiden Ross and Jeffrey Tumang-Allen, those are their 2 starting props, which is an interesting New Zealand connection because both these guys are former All Blacks. For Aiden Ross, this is his first game over in Australia since signing for the Reds. He's only just left New Zealand Rugby very recently. So it's going to be an interesting one to see these 2 former All Blacks go up against the British and Irish Lions. Then Matty Fassler, as I said, is one of the current Wallabies guys selected. He's going to be one to watch because the Reds don't go for poles. They always go for the maul, or at least for the sideline, when they get penalties. And Matty Fassler's a bit short of game time, so look out for that guy at maul time. It's an interesting front row. A couple of All Blacks, one dual international in Tumang-Allen, and a current Wallaby in that front row. And I like the look of the second row. Josh Canham, proper athletic tackle machine, line-out operator, and then Lukan Salakaia-Loto, former Wallaby, looking to get himself back in the picture because there's still time between now and the tests for him to put his hand up. He's probably fallen a little bit down the pecking order when he got injured towards the end of the Super Rugby season, and with Will Skelton now being available, but he's a proper big lump of a man. Big tight head lock, so he'll be looking to be a physical presence around the park. And then also Seru Uru, another guy who missed out on a bit of game time towards the end of the Super Rugby season. Proper lock, loose forward hybrid, good at line-out time. Probably the best turnover merchant the Reds have got without McWright. So him being back fit, he's going to be another option, as I said, at line-out. And dynamic guy to carry around the park. And then Bryant and Bryle at 7 and 8. A couple of hard tackling machines as well. Will likely need to be defensively pretty solid. An area of concern, the 9-10 combo is different from what we've seen from the Reds pretty much all season with Kalani Thomas and Harry McLaughlin-Phillips. Like, by all means, good players, but not the Reds starting 9-10 combo. So not as potentially dangerous as you feel like it might have been without those Wallabies guys. Hunter Paisami is there at 12. He's the other Wallaby that's currently selected and available for this team. He'll be looking to run it pretty hard and straight alongside Fluke, who's at 13. Another guy to watch out for if you don't watch Super Rugby, Tim Ryan on the left wing. They call him the junkyard dog because he's a proper mongrel of a player. Really aggressive ball carries for not like the biggest guy in the world, but he's certainly a very dangerous left wing. Lockie Anderson's a speedster on the right, and then Jock Campbell's a bit of a veteran at this point at fullback. Bench-wise, a little bit less in terms of the experience and kind of game time for this 2025 season. Nasser, Blake, and Fakangase. Ryan Smith, Angus Blythe, and Connor Vesto. There's some big units on the bench. They've gone with 6 forwards, have the Reds, and then Wirchon and Henry, a little bit shorter game time, the 2 back replacements. But the Reds, like I mentioned, they finished 5th. They went out to the Crusaders. They're the second best Aussie team in Super Rugby. They are without their big guns, but they're a good team. They've got great defence, generally, at least at Super Rugby level, and with their big guns. But, a very hard tackling team. Don't go for poles. They always go for mauls. And, they've got some proper skills guys when they are able to go on display. But I keep reiterating the point, they are without 6 of their kind of starting players who finished their last game of the season. For the Lions, they've obviously mixed things up. The team who played the first week was very different from the team who played the Force. And this team, which is going to play their third game, vastly different from the team which played at the weekend, barring Finn Russell, who you feel like Andy Farrell probably wants to get a bit of game time alongside Gibson Park, with hence his selection back-to-back. It's not going to be that often that you see guys starting 2 games in a row, but Gibson Park being at 9 and Russell at 10, you feel like is Farrell wanting to get these guys some game time together. I'm not sure that Russell plays much more than 40-50 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. It's certainly a combo that we would like to see a bit of time ahead of the tests, if indeed that is the first choice pairing. There's also a few other combos that have, at least from this is the 3rd selection Andy Farrell's made, seem to be getting some continuity, like Van der Merwe and Freeman on the wings are paired up once again. That's not guaranteed to transform through into test selection either, but those guys both offer different things, with Freeman's aerial game and Van der Merwe less about his aerial game, more about his power and his pace. Keenan's there at fullback. Another combo is Curry and Morgan in the back row. Both very, very hard kind of tackle machine players. Whether that's a combo that Andy Farrell looks to go for, because he does seem to like picking a lot of bloody 7s in the squad. He's starting with 2 of them. And then Porter, Kelleher and Stewart go from being a kind of bench trio to now the starting front row trio for the Lions in this one. So there are some combinations forming, and there are some other partnerships which are maybe separating a little bit. Byrne and Itoje were together for game 1. They were separated for game 2 as Byrne shifted to the back row, and they are separated again with Itoje's return and Byrne getting a rest. I keep banging on this drum, but I'm not convinced that Itoje and Byrne are going to be the starting locking duo. But we'll see. Chesham is a more natural fit, I feel like, for Itoje in that second row. He's a bit more of a kind of big lump of a lock, which goes well up against the red selection of Salakai Lotto. And then Jack Conan's going to get his first start as he takes the number 8 jersey for this one. It's also a new midfield combo because there's no Tuipulotu for this game. Aki and Jones are going to pair up for the first time in Lions red. So a good chance for them to build some chemistry as well. Probably not going to be as much as what you get from the likes of Tuipulotu or Aki and Ringrose, but it's certainly a new combination that needs a bit of testing. Cowan-Dickey, Genge and Bielam are all back. Those are your backup front rowers for this one. James Ryan's going to get a crack alongside Ben Earl. So it's an all-new Ford set of replacements. And then Alex Mitchell, with the injury to Thomas Williams, which sees him leave the tour early, has to back up once again as the replacement halfback as we await the arrival of Ben White as the replacement for Thomas Williams. Sadly, the first kind of casualty of the tour itself. Finn Smith is back in, and then Gary Ringrose does drop to the bench for this one. The Lions have been playing some offload and rugby. I would imagine they keep this up, at least in some of these prep games. I still feel like it's going to contract a bit more conservatively for the tests. Like 15 offloads against the Pumas, 23 against the Force. That's a lot of chucking the ball around. It was obviously more effective against the Force because they stopped throwing it to opposition players quite as much. But they're certainly playing an expansive game for these build-up matches. And the line-out improved remarkably. It was 77% against the Pumas. It was shocking. Whereas 90% against the Force was a lot better, a much better attacking platform for the Lions. You feel like if they can get similar numbers throughout this tour, it'll be a big advantage for them to go well. They've not been mauling it. 3 mauls each game. I reckon the offloads go down and the mauls go up as we get closer to the tests, but Andy Farrell might just be keeping some of that powder dry. I suspect, who knows, maybe he just goes kind of crazy barbars rugby for the whole entire tour. They've also been very direct with their carries from the midfield. Like Tuipulotu in both his games has been one of the leading ball carriers. So it'll be interesting to see if Aki or Jones kind of fill that role in this third game. The bookies, predictions-wise, have got this one being pretty lopsided. 28 points, which would be not quite as much as what they beat the Force by, but a kind of similar predicted margin. Back in 2013, it was a lot closer between the Reds and the Lions. It was only a 10-point game, 22-12. I think the Lions could probably use a result a bit more like that. If it's too much of a cakewalk, I don't think the players get as much from it. But yeah, it's on at Suncorp this Wednesday night. It'll be morning for you guys over in Europe. Hopefully you'll be able to spare a few minutes from work to tune into the game, either live or delayed. If you want to get yourself Lions jersey, check the link down in the description to the Lions store. Wallabies jersey, link down in the description to the Wallaby store. AUNZ Invitational Team jersey, check the Wallaby score down in the description. If you want to get yourself some gear ahead of the games, those links tell them 2 cents sent you. You know I always love a bit of rugby gear, so now is the time to be getting them. James Dolman, the Kiwi, is the referee for this one. Fingers crossed he has a good game. You guys let us know your thoughts. Do you reckon without their first string players, the Reds are in for a bit of a long night? Or do you think this is a game where the Lions are pushed a little bit more than perhaps expected? You guys take care. Let us know your thoughts, and talk to you guys again soon. See you later.